He goes all the way to Ake, who is the furthest City outfielder back, but still just inside the United half. Up to the left for Doku. De Bruyne. Cross looking for Haaland. Lindelof heads it clear though, only as far as John Stones. Chest to Doku. Bit of fortune about the fact that this ball drops for Doku again as he plays it off Bruno Fernandes. John Stones out to the left for Bernardo Silva. Looked like he might cross it first time as he shaped up, but goes inside for De Bruyne instead. Lovely through ball this from De Bruyne for John Stones. Can he finish? Defensive touch from Casemiro. Looked like it might have been a foul for me. There's a few penalty appeals from Manchester City, but they play on as the ball goes out to the right. Bernardo Silva keeps it alive. 1-2 with Phil Foden. Inside for Rodri. Knocked out to the left for Doku. Good touch to bring it inside the box. And back to John Stones. Now Ake. I'm sure VAR will be looking at that Casemiro challenge as play continues. Doku standing up Dalot. Garnacho comes to help him out, but he still manages to poke it through a gap for Bernardo Silva. He wriggles past Dalot again. Cross for Haaland just beyond the Norwegian's head, and he really had to stretch to get a touch, and it goes out for a goal kick. And now I'm going to get a better look at this Casemiro challenge. And it's actually a really good challenge from Casemiro. He comes in from the side of John Stones and gets a good foot on the ball before making contact with John Stones. That's actually really good recovery defending from the Brazilian. 4 minutes on the clock. It's Manchester City 0, Manchester United 0. But early pressure from Man City. Now United, though, from the goal kick can play out. Johnny Evans gives it to Kobe Manu, put him under pressure, though. Lindelof. Forced back into his own corner by Bernardo Silva. Great team presses from Manchester City. De Bruyne has come over to help, as has Rodri. They're all down the right-hand side, and it's paid off as they win the ball back. John Stones knocks it all the way home to Ederson. The City players just saw Lindelof being forced into the corner of the pitch there, and they all came over to make sure he had nowhere to go. Really impressive teamwork that from Manchester City, and it means they end up with possession. Here is Ruben Diaz, who gives it to John Stones on the halfway line. Stones turns away from Scott McTominay, who does look like he's playing as the central striker for Manchester United, with Rashford on the left and Garnacho on the right. Foden receives on the right, drifts in field, knocks a nice ball out to Jeremy Doku. Touches it left of Dalot, goes early, might have been a shot, but it's just over the top left corner, I think he was going for. I'll get another look at it now. Doku. Good turn of pace away from Dalot on his left foot. Definitely does try and catch Onana out at the near post. He fires that shot. Not a million miles high or wide of the top left corner either. He's made a bright start to this one, Jeremy Doku. That's poor from Onana, who's kicked it straight to Bernardo Silva, but Silva's touch is intercepted by Casemiro. United clear. Bruno Fernandes knocks it down to Scott McTominay. Great ball this for Garnacho if he's onside. He's got Rashford in support. Garnacho surely can create something here. Ake gets in really well and gets a defensive touch that means the ball ends up in the arms of Ederson. That's a brilliant recovery from Nathan Ake. Garnacho, I think, might have been offside as Scott McTominay played the volley through ball. Great ball it was from McTominay. As I say, there would be a question mark over offside had something come of it, but Nathan Ake charging in to block the eventual cutback by Garnacho. I think he just took one touch too many there, Garnacho, to the byline. Should have fed Rashford central earlier. And now, as City bring the ball out, there's no rush about how they move the ball about here. They're well into United's half, again forcing the Reds back as Ake and Diaz exchange passes in the opposition half. Kyle Walker. First touch, I think, for him as Foden then knocks it up the line for Kevin De Bruyne, who seems to be in something of a free roll today. He and Bernardo Silva are just switching sides to wherever the ball is quite consistently. Foden nicks in to take the ball off Kobe Manu there. United are penned in at the moment, really struggling to play out. Ruben Diaz runs it just over the centre circle. Kyle Walker fizzes it into the feet of Erling Haaland. Manu perhaps should have got there but didn't. Haaland knocks it right for Foden. Foden past Lindelof to the byline. Swede is still with him though, so he goes back. Kevin De Bruyne. Foden again. Fakes the cross and was left a couple of times and then goes outside to De Bruyne instead. De Bruyne's first time cross. Headed touch by Casemiro, and then Onana claims the second. Might have just clipped the head of his teammate Casemiro there as he leapt for that ball. Had to be the goalkeeper's that though. Nana goes long out of his hands for Bruno Fernandes. It's a great ball, in fact, from the goalkeeper. Bruno Fernandes lets it bounce, brings it down, tees up. Oh my word, what a strike! Oh my goodness, Marcus Rashford! Manchester United lead, and it's one of the best goals you will ever see in a Manchester derby. That is perfect from Marcus Rashford. It's teed up for him for about 25 yards. He smashes it first time, in off the crossbar. Ederson's got no chance. That is absolutely brilliant from Marcus Rashford. And there's been so much talk in the week about this man, his mentality. He's addressed some criticism. And he silenced a lot of people with that strike right there. Fernandes with the great hold-up play. I mean, credit to Onana, the goalkeeper, first. It's an absolute zinger of a pass out of his hands. Sends the ball about 80 yards before it bounces, perfectly in front of Bruno Fernandes, who's just marginally onside. Ake is playing him onside on the left. Fernandes gets the ball before Ruben Diaz, turns, tees up Rashford, and it's a first-time strike at the crossbar, bounces into the back of the net. That is so satisfying to watch. As I'm getting the replays, I could watch that for the rest of the 90 minutes. That is brilliant from Marcus Rashford. And that's a goal worthy of the lead against the Premier League and European champions. Wow, oh wow. We're back in play as the ball runs through to Onana. Will he fancy the long kick again? I'm sure City will be alert to it this time around. If you've got this commentary on and you're at work or you're driving, just you wait until you can find the footage of that Marcus Rashford goal later on. An absolute screamer. Here's Garnacho for United. They've only had 20% of possession in the first 10 minutes. That won't bother Erik ten Hag one bit, as Onana now rolls the ball under his studs away from Erling Haaland to Casemiro, back to Varane, now to Onana again. Nice ball out to Dalot on the right. Garnacho. Looked like he might be dribbling into trouble there, but he just knocked it back to Onana before conceding possession to De Bruyne. There's another great kick from Onana for Rashford out on the left. Gets there before Walker, but his international teammate Walker just gets around him and then is able to marshal it out for a City throw-in. But from the throw, Ruben Diaz, under pressure from his international teammate Bruno Fernandes, runs it out for a corner. And it's in that corner where the United fans are, and they're loving it. Bruno Fernandes will saunter over with the ball to take this corner in front of his visiting supporters. Had an injury scare in the week, Bruno Fernandes, but fit to start in this game. Remarkably, he's never missed a Premier League game due to injury since signing for Manchester United. The corner isn't great though. Garnacho tries to keep it alive, but Bernardo Silva brings it down and clears up the line for Doku. Doku trying to skip away from Casemiro, loses him eventually, but there straight after is Diogo Dalot with a good tackle. Up for a throw-in, right down in front of the dugouts where Pep Guardiola gives a pat and a shout of encouragement to Jeremy Doku. He's been the real bright spark for City so far. And by all means, City on top, very much against the run of play, that Marcus Rashford screamer. But they haven't created a shot on target yet, I don't think, Manchester City. And they won't here as Foden knocks it up the line. I thought Walker had run that out of play, but I think Lindelof got a defensive touch, so City are going to have another corner. Phil Foden will take from the right, so they're going with the in-swinger route again. Kevin De Bruyne has taken the previous two from the left. Ake is trying to get himself in front of the goalkeeper Onana to make things awkward. Foden whips it at the near post, and it's a good defensive touch from Bruno Fernandes to take that away for another corner. Delivered with venom, that Phil Foden. I think he might have been trying to sneak it in at the near post himself, you know. Onana was forced back by Ake. Foden takes again, this time more height on it. Haaland was the target, I think, but Lindelof headed clear. Manu got the next touch, but can only knock it into the path of Kyle Walker. Manu putting pressure on Kyle Walker, though. Kevin De Bruyne skips past a couple of challenges. Oh, this is great from Kevin De Bruyne. Try to work it through to Erling Haaland. Good defensive touch by Scott McTominay. Now out comes Dallow for McTominay. Touches it right to Rashford. Rashford tried a clever little poke there to Manu away from Ake, but didn't quite come off. John Stones punts it forward to nobody in particular, and it runs out for, I think, a Manchester United throw-in right down in the corner rather than a goal kick. Throw in indeed right by the corner flag for Diogo Dalot to take. City will try and pen them in here. They certainly are. There's a horde of blue shirts as the camera pans away from Dalot. It's a difficult throw for him to take, and City have kept it alive with De Bruyne. Falls for Bernardo Silva. Knocks into the path of Foden. Right-footed shot at the near post. Good save with the feet by Onana. Out for another City corner. Holding on here at United at the moment. Great work from De Bruyne initially to tee up Foden. 1-2 with Bernardo Silva. Bernardo's pass did send Foden very wide, and as he struck it on the right foot, you do really expect Onana to make that save, but he reacted quickly to turn it away from goal with his foot, and then as Foden crosses over everybody to the back post, Onana does jump and claim it. Quarter of an hour on the clock now. Manchester City 0, Man United 1. Kick from Onana by Diaz. Foden poked to Haaland. Hasn't had many touches of the ball yet, the Norwegian, but he managed to knock that one off to Rodri. Now it's Bernardo Silva just venturing further into the Manchester United half. Haaland's touch was on the halfway line, but he's now just hanging around the edge of the D as City look to try and create something for him. Doku to Rodri. Doku again. Through for Bernardo Silva. To the byline. Silva cut back. De Bruyne, volley on his left foot, gets it all wrong. Well wide of the goal. Very awkward angle for Kevin De Bruyne to take this volley on from. Ball just sits up for him. He catches it on his left foot. Goes completely straight of where he is, but quite wide of the goal. So no trouble at all. Oh, and I'm getting the honour of another look at the Marcus Rashford goal. Just really, really special strike. Here's Phil Foden for Manchester City, drifting in from the right. He tries to curl a shot from distance of his own. It's closed down by Johnny Evans. His touch falls back to Ruben Diaz. Now Walker on the right. Switch for Doku. They're liking this ball to Doku, and his first touch has been spot on every time. Into the box for Bernardo Silva. Silva tries to poke it through a few bodies, and I think Varane got the crucial touch in there to block it. United half clear. Dallow puts it forward. Ruben Diaz slips. Bruno Fernandes through for Marcus Rashford here. Rashford, if he can sort his foot out, it's going to be one-on-one, but no, Kyle Walker gets in. Oh, that's bitterly unlucky for Marcus Rashford. City had parked in United's box with their, in United's half with their high line. Ruben Diaz slipped as the last man as the ball came to him. Bruno Fernandes, really clever little flick round the corner for Marcus Rashford, who was beyond everybody but onside just as he crossed the halfway line. And Rashford just couldn't quite sort out the bouncing ball. It ended up behind him as Kyle Walker was closing him down. If there's one player in the Premier League you don't want sprinting after you as you're trying to get yourself through on goal, it probably is Kyle Walker. absolutely rapid that he is, he was able to pinch the ball off Rashford before he could get himself one-on-one. But as Rashford tries to feed a ball into the box from McTominay, it's defended behind for another Manchester United corner down in that side in front of their away support. And they are loving what they're seeing so far. Bruno Fernandes to take. Looks a good delivery. Ederson's not sure if he should come or not. Casemiro's the target, but Ake heads it outside of the area for Bernardo Silva. Clearance up the line on the left. Nobody there in blue. Nana comes all the way to the halfway line to pick it up. It's at the feet of Casemiro. Tomine battling with Rodri. The Spaniard wins out. De Bruyne, lovely through ball that for Phil Foden, and now he's potentially one-on-one if he can get it away from Varane. Shot saved by Onana, and then shepherded out away from Foden. City will have a corner. Foden not allowed to get the second shot away. I think Varane just did enough there to send Foden wide on his right foot, but still a good save from Onana. Corner taken short. Rodri puts it into the box. Diaz is unmarked, but misses the header. Johnny Evans heads clear. Might fall for Garnacho. Rodri gets there instead. Garnacho might have been through on goal if he'd got the control of that ball. Rodri just touched it back to Kyle Walker. They're playing a very risky line here, City. In fact, it's not really a line. We'll leave one defender in the centre circle and everybody else park around the United box. United looking like they might be able to counter-attack a couple of times, but hasn't paid off yet. Here is Garnacho, though, out on the left for United. Ruben Diaz has come over to defend. Gets a touch, but it can only fall for Lindelof. Casemiro, around the corner for Bruno Fernandes. He's got two runners. He's tried to use Rashford far too late. Rashford's clearly offside. Ake gets a touch in there anyway. Rodri picks up the scraps there, touches it back to Ruben Diaz. Now for Bernardo Silva. Diaz. Ake on the halfway line. John Stones just floating around in the midfield position to offer as City build out in a three-man defence of Ake, Diaz and Walker. Stones very much playing next to Rodri in possession. In fact, more advanced than Rodri, as Ake is now on the left, gives it to Doku. Stones is the option floating to the edge of the box. Doku plays a 1-2 with De Bruyne instead. Cross blocked by Dalot. Has Onana prevented the corner? Referee says so. I thought that had gone, but Onana bring the ball out in his hands. 20 minutes on the clock. Manchester City 0, Manchester United 1. And City dominant so far, but probably the player of the match so far for United is Andre Onana. A couple of big saves, and right, the goal is a worldie from Marcus Rashford, but it all comes from Onana's brilliant long kick for Bruno Fernandes. It's Foden on the right for City. Knocks it back to Walker. Switch for Doku. Dalot rises and is able to head away from the Belgian. Picked up by Ruben Diaz. Back to Ederson. Diaz. Gives it to Ake. United just applying a bit more pressure here now, and City are having to play these passes inside their own half between the defenders rather than well into United's. But they do soon cut through the press. Rodri knocks a nice ball out to Foden on the right. Good touch. Stood up by Garnacho. He goes back to Kyle Walker. 1-2 with John Stones. He's on the edge of the United penalty area once again. Stones still holding the ball. Evans and Garnacho were challenging him. Back it goes to Kyle Walker. Now Ake on the left, floating infield away from Rashford. Touched it to Rodri. Thinged out to Phil Foden. Oh, nice reverse pass for Kevin De Bruyne. Crosses against Kobe Mainu and earns another City corner. taken short and then hooked in. Didn't catch who by, but caught by Andre Onana for sure. His kick is very flat and cannons off, I think, one of his teammates, and then bounces through to Bernardo Silva on the halfway line. Here's John Stones, 30 yards from goal in the centre, knocks it just next to him to Rodri. He tried to play it through to Haaland. Haaland goes to ground. No foul, says the referee. Johnny Evans is bringing the ball out. Leading a United counter is Johnny Evans. And he gives it left to Bruno Fernandes and continues his run. Here's a ball for McTominay. Drops for Rashford and he gets the volley all wrong. Oh, what an opportunity for Marcus Rashford to double his tally and United's. See, Bruno Fernandes on the left, cuts onto his right foot. It's a delightful cross. I think Scott McTominay is the target, and he perhaps just puts Rashford off. McTominay jumps for the header, gets just underneath it. Ake was focused on McTominay. He was the only defender in the box, and then the ball drops for Rashford for a free volley. But I think he just doesn't line it up until very late, swings at the ball wildly and doesn't make any proper contact, and City get away with it. But they are very vulnerable to this United counter-attack that's coming from pace of Rashford and the passing of Bruno Fernandes and even their goalkeeper Andre Onana. Here's Doku though with a nice little shimmy to find some space in the box. Stones with a nice pass to Bernardo Silva, who crosses against Diogo Dalot, and it goes out for another Manchester City corner, this one from the left hand side. Bernardo Silva takes it quickly, short to Doku, stood up by Garnacho. The referee has just blown his whistle for something. I think he's indicating that there's a check, or there's a VAR check here against Diogo Dalot for handball as he blocks that Bernardo Silva cross. And the check is quickly complete, nothing doing, indicates the referee. Yeah, I think that would have been very harsh. Dalot's hands were right into his body. So just a retake of the corner it will be. De Bruyne swings it into the back post. Onana punches clear as far as Carl Walker, 35 yards from goal. Looked like he might line up the shot. Kobbie Mainoo closed it down, so it goes right to Phil Foden. Further for Rodri, first time cross. Haaland's the target, it's beyond him. De Bruyne keeps it alive at the back post. Doku is with him. Goes further back to Bernardo Silva. To his right for Rodri. Shot from distance. Blocked by Rafael Varane for another Manchester City corner. This one will be from the right, so Phil Foden will likely take. There's no real power behind that shot from Rodri. I think that was going straight at Onana, but Ake could have got a touch, so Varane had to be safe. Corner comes to nothing anyhow as Scott McTominay clears. Good run for Doku to bring down, but second attempt he does. No Manchester United player was there to challenge him. Walker to Stones. To the right for Foden. Back to Diaz. Infield for Carl Walker. Those two have just switched around for a moment. Walker driving through the centre, then gives it to Rodri on his left. Rodri with a switch out for Phil Foden. Up against Lindelof. Foden goes back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne assesses his options, gives it to Rodri. Tominay closed him down, so to Ake it goes. Now Doku, they've worked it from right to left, but they haven't really advanced here, City. They're still just on the precipice of the final third. As John Stones, though, slips it through for Doku this time. Now they're to the edge of the penalty area. Doku tries to cut it back to Stones, and Casemiro is there to defend. Now for a City throw-in. 27 minutes on the clock. Ake will take this throw on the left. Bernardo Silva shows short and gives it back to the taker, Ake. All the way home to Ruben Diaz. Now infield for Carl Walker. Bruno Fernandes chasing Walker. Now to the right it goes for Foden. Turn away from Lindelof. Foul by the Swede eventually as Foden goes to ground, just shy of the halfway line. It's a Manchester City free kick. It's taken short quickly by Walker infield for Ruben Diaz. He brings it back over the halfway line. Diaz knocks it right to Carl Walker. Ball over the top for Erling Haaland. Brings it down Haaland and then slips and allows Johnny Evans to get in and clear. Garnacho, who's out on the left at the moment. Mainu back inside for Johnny Evans. Lindelof, good one for him to receive, and plays it in the air centrally that Bernardo Silva is able to intercept. Heads it into the path of Haaland. Back to Bernardo Silva. To Doku. They get past Dalot. Bruno Fernandes comes in to double up and then clears the Portuguese skipper. The clearance picked up by Ruben Diaz. Well into United's half again is every City defender. Doku in field for Rodri. Just behind Rodri, but he manages to keep hold of possession. Stones fires one out to Foden on the right, into the penalty area, back to Bernardo Silva. Cross for De Bruyne, might fancy the shot here. Looked like he was lining it up, tries to return it to Bernardo Silva at the back post instead. Onana was alert to it quickly and comes out to claim it. Again, a point of criticism for Andre Onana this season has been his claiming of crosses and balls into the box, but he's been quick to react to all of them so far in this game. As he kicks long, Ake gets the touch. McTominay puts pressure on the next for John Stones, but he manages to get it into the feet of De Bruyne, now out to Doku on the left. Floating in field. Only as far as Casemiro. Makes a brilliant tackle, Casemiro, and now can potentially launch a United counter as Bruno Fernandes gets it on the halfway line, touches it to his left for McTominay. Tries to dribble at Kyle Walker. Walker wins that battle. Gives to Foden. Stones. Rodri. Ball out to Doku on the left. He's got acres of space to bring this ball down. Dalot standing up in the penalty area. Doku 1-2 with Bernardo Silva and then shoots as he leans back and pulls it high and wide. Jeremy Doku. No goal contributions in the Premier League from Jeremy Doku since that game against Bournemouth back as far as I believe November, when he got 4 assists against the Cherries. Player really creates a threat with his pace and quickness of feet, but just hasn't had that final product of late. Here's Kobe Mainu. Rashford tried to return it to Mainu. The edge of the penalty area now, United. Walker clears. He's claiming he played it against Rashford and wants the throw, and it has gone City's way. Half an hour on the clock now. City 0, United 1 in this Battle of Manchester. And, Foden, he receives Walker's throw in, tried to play around the corner, and it's intercepted by Casemiro. Still in the Man City half. So round on the halfway line, fizzes it into the feet of Bruno Fernandes, looks for options on his right. Dalot is late to appear, but eventually he does and receives it. Casemiro. Bruno's an option for him on the right. It's his only option, so it's quite telegraphed the pass, and Bernardo Silva gets a foot in there to prevent it reaching the United captain. Looking out for a throw-in. Dalot will take. Any option short, Dalot. There's the loop to Garnacho. Garnacho lost out, and as McTominay tried to return it to him, he knows he's offside, I think, the young winger, and just leaves it to run out for a goal kick. Rodri into the feet of John Stones on the halfway line. Kyle Walker. Stones again on the turn. Good touch. Goes out to the left for Doku again. Doku shoots, slips up against Dalot. Goes looping into the air. Haaland's header over the bar. He's barely had a sniff in this game so far, despite all of City's possession. Erling Haaland. And this one, just a spot of fortune about the way it came to him. City not creating anything for him, really. It's actually Bruno Fernandes. No, it was a miscommunication. Casemiro accidentally heads it back into his own box, straight onto the head of Erling Haaland. He didn't have much time to react, though. Haaland heads it straight over the bar. ball from United, cut out. Rodri against Bruno Fernandes. Infield for De Bruyne. Foden. Around by Lindelof. Free kick for City. De Bruyne takes short to Foden. The line for Walker. He's running at Lindelof. First time he's really had a go. Knocks it past him. Brilliant burst of paces from Kyle Walker. Can he get the cross away? No, Lindelof stands him up. De Bruyne's cross though. Cleared by Varane. Shot, and Onana makes a good save from Rodri. There's a first time cross from De Bruyne. It's a lovely knock that Varane can only half clear. And then Rodri, absolutely superb reaction speed to somehow lift a foot from quite an awkward angle and volley towards the bottom corner at the near post, and Onana gets down and makes a good save. City have once again gone short with the corner. Mainu got a defensive touch on the pass that was intended for Kyle Walker, so Walker has been sent rushing back towards his own goal with the ball and has to go all the way home to Edison. Good work from Kobbie Mainu. Hasn't been too involved in this game, but perhaps knowing that he has to play a more defensive role today rather than getting on the ball and dictating the game. He did so well against Luton recently. It's Ake. Floating centre of City. Into Kyle Walker. Grab to Foden on the right. Against Lindelof again. Don't think Foden's quite got the burst of pace to go away from Lindelof that Kyle Walker showed a moment ago. But what he can do is create a nice little triangle here with Rodri and De Bruyne. The latter takes the shot and it's wide at the near post from the Belgian. Yeah, lovely little combination that between Foden, Rodri and then eventually De Bruyne. But not quite the execution that was needed on the shot from Kevin De Bruyne. Onana's goal kick goes long, of course. Headed clear, but only as far as Dalot. United have the ball back again, but Dallow's ball up the line, intended for Bruno Fernandes, cut out by Nathan Ake. Bernardo Silva goes all the way home to Edison. Now John Stones. At the moment they're lined up in a 4-2-4 United, with Bruno Fernandes on the right, Garnacho on the left, and then McTominay and Rashford pressing as a duo. They're not going to prevent Rodri from striding forward with the ball here, and then he goes out to Foden on the right. Infield for Ake. Bruno Fernandes is pressing him. So to Rodri it goes again. Good ball out to Doku on the left. Once again he's got acres of space, gets into the box. Tries to fire it at the penalty spot for Foden, but it's cleared by Varane. As far as Ruben Diaz on the halfway line. Once again the only defender that far back for City. It's a risky strategy. Stones to Doku. Stones again. Good pressure this from Ruben Diaz, is forcing John Stones back. From Bruno Fernandes, excuse me. Ruben Diaz that Stones went to with the ball. Bernardo Silva on the edge of the penalty area, still going a City. Diaz tried to clip it out to De Bruyne on the right. Lindelof read it, cleared as far as Garnacho. Stones, Walker, De Bruyne, still De Bruyne, Foden with the shot, blocked by Lindelof, looping into the air, De Bruyne challenging for the next ball. Stones keeps it alive as he knocks it to Kyle Walker. Stones has it again, now Foden. Stood up by Garnacho. Foden looked like he might fancy the cross, tried to pass quite lazily to De Bruyne instead, and it's cut out by Kobbie Mainu. And then Mainu is fouled by De Bruyne, preventing the counter. Free kick goes United's way. That's the sort of thing where really I think City do tend to get away with. It should really be a yellow card. Clear attempt by Kevin De Bruyne to get his hands all over Kobbie Mainoo and prevent the counter-attack from coming to fruition. Onana to Evans on the left. Lindelof. So he'll be into the air. Headed by Bernardo Silva. Haaland. There's a foul though before the ball drops for Haaland. I think it's Kyle Walker who comes inside and commits a foul on Casemiro there that allows Haaland to take the ball. Rand takes the free kick. Dallo. Punch looking for Bernardo Silva. Cut out by John Stones. Left centre back position. Ruben Diaz. To the feet of Rodri. Just around the corner for John Stones. Sort of Stones away from Bernardo Silva. Silva out to Foden on the right, standing up Lindelof. Back to Walker, Rodri. Foden runs at Lindelof. Pass Garnacho to the byline, cross easily collected by Onana at the near post. Just couldn't find the angle there on his right foot. Foden to pull that back. Enough for it to beat Onana, who kicks long here for Bruno Fernandes. Ederson comes out of his box and has to head it down to Ake. Wasn't the perfect header. Invited Rashford to press. Ake gets it away from him, gives it to John Stones. Now Ruben Diaz brings it up to the halfway line, just to the right of centre. Gives it to Foden out on the touchline. Back inside for Kyle Walker. 40 minutes on the clock of this first half. United very much holding on here. City creating nothing of real note as De Bruyne gets into the byline. Did he keep that in play with the cross? I think so, but it's cleared as far as Ake. Loops into the air. Now Doku. Stones. Bernardo Silva. Pass I think was intended for Ake, but runs through Ruben Diaz instead. Goes back out to Doku. They'll try again from this left-hand side. Bernardo Silva's with him. Doku in field for Ake. Foden. Bernardo Silva. Does he fancy the cross? He does. Great ball. Foden was the target, but it's headed clear by Lindelof, I think it was, in there covering. But it's Scott McTominay that come all the way into the box to head that clear. Rodri. Kevin De Bruyne. Kyle Walker. Foden. So back to De Bruyne. Ake on the attacking third for City, where just about all of their players are, as De Bruyne goes out to Rodri, who's held width on the right here, tried to go infield for Walker, blocked by Lindelof, and goes out for a City throw-in. Right down in the corner for Kyle Walker to take. Foden is the option short. Haaland penning Johnny Evans into the box. Back it goes to Rodri. Diaz to Ake. Doku. Step over to get inside, and then to Rodri. The back post for Foden, headed down. Oh, Doku fancied a shot. De Bruyne lines up instead and almost fires it out of the stadium. There's a nod down by Foden that looked to be... In fact, it's Kyle Walker, sorry, who's gone round to the back. Foden had tucked inside. Walker headed it perfectly into the path of Jeremy Doku to volley, or so it looked. There's a crucial defensive touch in there by, I believe, Raphael Varane, that just knocked the ball into the path of Kevin De Bruyne instead. He smashed a volley, but completely miscued and lifted it well over the crossbar. Onana kicks out to the right. McTominay's the target. He jumps against Ake. It drops for Garnacho. Back to Ederson. Ake. The line for Doku. fouled there by Dalot. No, says the referee, so it's a Manchester United throw-in as the ball runs out of play from Doku's touch. Casemiro to Dalot. Dalot skips past the challenge from Doku, knocks it around Bernardo Silva, but Ake is the last man there who was able to sweep that one up. Important defensive intervention from Nathan Ake. Ederson then knocks it out to the right for Kyle Walker. Into the opposition half goes Kyle Walker. It's Kevin De Bruyne. Foden. De Bruyne still out on the right. United, so many bodies back at this stage that it's difficult to see the way through for City as Ruben Diaz and Foden exchange passes on the right. Now infield for Rodri. He tried to knock that one through for Haaland, but McTominay was alert to it. Garnacho on the next ball, tried to knock it through for the run of Bruno Fernandes, who snuck in behind the City defence there, but John Stones was able to block that path. Bernardo Silva's cross with Haaland. Doesn't make the headed contact. Drops to Foden on the volley, blocked. Was it by the head of Varane? Kobe Mainu was in there and made the block. He's gone down. Referees had to stop it for a potential head injury. Bernardo Silva's original cross whipped with so much pace for Haaland. It was Varane who got across Haaland and cleared. The clearance did actually set up nicely for... first Mainu actually wins an aerial duel with Kevin De Bruyne, but that one then drops to Foden. Foden volleys first time from that dropping ball, but straight into the face of Kobe Mainu, who goes to ground. Referee has now allowed play to continue. Mainu is fine and back to his feet. City get the drop ball. Kyle Walker out on the right. Infield for Nathan Ake. Doku. Rodri. Off to the back of the post. Haaland! Oh, how's he missed? How on earth has Erling Haaland just missed from about a yard and a half? Remarkable. Marcus Rashford scores from 30. Erling Haaland misses. Onside from 2, if not 1. Phil Foden heads it across goal for him. He reacts before Raphael Varane. All he's got to do is give it the faintest of touches. He gets underneath it, Erling Haaland, and lifts it over the crossbar from point blank range with no goalkeeper to beat. That is shocking to say the least. And now here go United up the other end with Marcus Rashford receiving from Dalot. Lindelof. Rashford. Bruno Fernandes. Good touch from Mainu. Fernandes crosses. McTominay challenges Ederson. The goalkeeper gets the second ball. 3 minutes of stoppage time indicated at the end of this first half. Ederson throws out to Kyle Walker. Stones. Foden. Back into the City half for Ruben Diaz. Clipped out to the left for Bernardo Silva. He's holding width now. Doku is central. De Bruyne is used instead. Rodri. Feet of Foden. Rodri again. Going for Doku. Foden. De Bruyne. Just moving it around the edge of the penalty area. Now Doku again. Flipped it to Bernardo Silva. Crosses low and cleared by Scott McTominay again. Bruyne and Ake exchanging passes. Kyle Walker. Foden. Rodri. Walker allowed to cross. The back post for Doku. Touches it down. Fakes across. Goes back to De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva. Lovely flick for De Bruyne. Fizzed in and Varane's touch just wide of the post for a corner. Brilliant intervention from Raphael Varane. Diving in. I mean, this is such a nice little combination from Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne. De Bruyne fizzes the cross low across the face of goal. Haaland, in fact, wasn't reacting quickly enough, so United would have been safe, but Varane wasn't to know that, made the defensive intervention. De Bruyne's corner headed back the way it came by United. Rodri, Foden, Stones. Foden continued his run, but Stones was forced back instead. Gives it to Rodri. Stones, Bernardo Silva moving it around on the edge of the penalty area. Walker lines up the shot. It's blocked and goes over the crossbar. City will get a corner, and this will probably be their last chance of the half. At the end of the 3 minutes that have been added on. Pep Guardiola barking all sorts at the third official. Kevin De Bruyne's cross under the bar, and Onana claims it, and that, as Onana lays on the ball, will likely be that for the first half here at the Etihad Stadium. Yes, it is. Whistle has gone. At the break, it's Man City 0, Manchester United 1, courtesy of an absolute screamer by Marcus Rashford, but it's been total domination by City. Erling Haaland with one of the worst misses you will ever see for anybody, let alone from Erling Haaland, and Marcus Rashford with one of the best goals you will see in a City 0, United 1, for the second half of this absolute thriller in the Premier League on Flash Score. Folks, welcome back to unofficial live coverage of the Manchester derby in the Premier League here on Flash Score. The second half has just kicked off. Bruno Fernandes has got the ball moving for Manchester United there. Now kicking from my right to my left in their red shirt, black shorts and socks. As a long ball is launched forward, there's a clash that leaves John Stones on the deck. I think Stones... I'm not sure what happens there. I think he leaps over the back of Scott McTominay and then lands quite awkwardly on his ankle, but Stones is back to his feet. He's fine. If you're late to join us, Man City 0, Man United 1, the score at the end of the first half. Complete domination by Manchester City. Erling Haaland missing one of the biggest chances that you will ever see, lifting the ball over the crossbar from about 2 yards out. And that following the absolute screamer of Marcus Rashford to give Manchester United the lead early in the first half. A tale of two moments, really. Will we see more of the same, more City domination in this second 45? Certainly wouldn't be surprised. Ruben Diaz gives it to Ake. Doku. Back to Ake on the left. Foden. Standing up Lindelof. Walker back to Diaz in the centre circle. And Rodri to Nathan Ake. Diaz in the centre circle still. Kyle Walker's an option on his right. He goes left to Ake instead. Those three are playing very much as a defensive trio, with John Stones stepping into the midfield. Diaz receives from Bernardo Silva. They're just edging further and further forward, that defensive trio. It's Doku on the left. Ake. Diaz to Walker. Finally advanced to a midfielder as De Bruyne gets out on the right. 1-2 with Stones. De Bruyne looking for a switch to Doku. Rare underhit pass from De Bruyne allows Garnacho to head clear, but only as far as Ake. Now to Doku again. That's for Ake. Doku. Try to work it through to Stones, defended by Mainu. Now out comes McTominay with the ball. Garnacho, well, he's got a run from Rashford if he can find him. Just couldn't quite work the angle for a pass there, but Dalot goes over the top from McTominay and he will get to this before Ake. Cross for Rashford. Ruben Diaz defends it quite easily but comes back out the way that it came. Ake gets to the second ball before McTominay though, and this could be City away with Kevin De Bruyne bringing the ball over the halfway line. He's got Foden as a runner on his right and uses him. Lindelof standing him up. Foden into the box, curls a shot. Johnny Evans makes the block. It goes looping into the air. Doku touches it down for Bernardo Silva, who's round the outside of him. Bernardo Silva slows it down. Up against Mainu, he knocks it back to Nathan Ake. Just walking the ball again now, City. Kyle Walker. De Bruyne. Rodri. Into the box for Haaland. Stood up by Varane. Tackle comes through to Bernardo Silva. Shot by Doku. Good save by Onana. Ball still bouncing. Johnny Evans up against Foden. And Evans judges that the safest thing to do is to pop that out for a throw-in. Look, Haaland just trying to roll Varane there. Casemiro comes steaming in with a tackle that actually lays it off to Bernardo Silva, and then Doku curls a shot from a tight angle. Onana gets a good palm on it. Is Rodri down from the City throw-in. Ake. Rodri. Up to Foden on the right. Curls across from deep. Bernardo Silva's the target at the back post. He gets underneath it, heads over the bar. Kick to come for Manchester United. has the ball down quite central. And had an option short, but he's encouraging his players further up the pitch. Kicks out to the right. Easily won by Stones, headed forward for Haaland. Beyond him, and then Varane will let it run through to Onana. The goalkeeper picks it up. Going to Johnny Evans. Evans tried to clip it up the line for Bruno Fernandes. Wasn't wide enough though, Bruno, to receive that one. It bounces out for a City throw-in. Walker takes to Ruben Diaz. Diaz to Walker. Back inside for Diaz, who's across the halfway line himself now. Once again, every outfielder on the pitch is in United's half. Walker visits the feet of Rodri. Awkward one for him to touch. McTominay intercepts. Sends Rashford running away on the left. Rashford just runs out of play under pressure from Kyle Walker. City throw in. Walker takes quickly to John Stones. And Rodri advances for Haaland. Haaland runs straight into a challenge from Scott McTominay. Bruno Fernandes. Back to Dalot. Around out to Lindelof on the left. Nana under pressure there. Put it round the corner for one of Casemiro or Varane there. They both look to leave it for each other. Casemiro eventually touches it out to Bruno Fernandes on the right. Dalot. McTominay turns and works it through to Kobbie Mainoo. He's got a run from Garnacho on his right. Oh, but looks instead very cleverly out to Rashford on the left. He's just forced him a little too wide though, Rashford. Up against Kyle Walker. Rashford goes back to Lindelof. Lindelof 1-2 with Mainoo. And then a good ball inside from the Swede for Dalot. Rashford on, Garnacho on the right. Bruno Fernandes up the line for Dalot. Inside for Garnacho again, 1-2. Back to Bruno Fernandes. And Varane. A rare chance for United to get everybody into City's half. Varane with a nice ball up the line from Garnacho after skipping past the challenge. Back to Varane again from Bruno Fernandes. 1-2 with Dalot. Varane still on the ball. Away from De Bruyne. Dalot. Varane. Touch at the feet of McTominay as Varane continues to move forward. Part of this move down the right. Now Garnacho. He takes over as Varane shuffles back into position. But Dalot gives it away. Garnacho throws his arms up in frustration as all that hard work by Man United might be about to be undone as Phil Foden receives the ball out on the right. Against Lindelof. Looks a cross in. Think the Swede just got a touch that made that cross very unthreatening. And it's brought out by McTominay. Dalot. For Garnacho. Rashford, good touch, he brings this down, but Kyle Walker gets around him to make the challenge. Fouls as the referee. And has Foden been fouled there by Bruno Fernandes? Yes, he has. Taken short by Walker to John Stones. To De Bruyne on the right. Position for him to cross if he wants to, but so it goes inside for De Bruyne. For Foden. Now De Bruyne again. Ruben Diaz. Okay, infield for Walker. Foden. Walker and Foden exchange passes. Foden with a nice reverse pass out to Doku on the left. Not been too involved in the second half edge yet, but he goes back to Ake. Across the penalty spot, Haaland's the target just beyond him. Rashford keeps it in play at the byline. The line for Johnny Evans, who has to concede a throw-in. Taken quickly by Walker. Haaland's the target, but good recovery from Johnny Evans. Casemiro pokes it through a gap for Scott McTominay. He's got the run of Rashford on the left, and he's found him well. But once again, Kyle Walker with the recovery pace as the push is there by Walker on Rashford there. United appeal for it. Referee waves Marcus Rashford back to his feet as City bring the ball out with Kyle Walker. I do think Rashford went down a little softly there. Perhaps he did lose his footing, but Doku, Stones, De Bruyne, Rodri, Foden shot. Oh, what a goal, Phil Foden! There's the leveller. And with the way United have defended, it promised to need something special from a Manchester City player, and there it is, Phil Foden. Jinks in from the right and fires an absolute peach into the top left corner. It's almost as good as Marcus Rashford's opener. It's another that left the goalkeeper with absolutely no chance, and Andre Onana's had a good game so far, but there's nothing he could do there. Foden from the right, a little drop of the shoulder to get inside Lindelof onto his stronger left foot, and he hits it with so much power, but is still able to bend it across goal, away from the goalkeeper, brings it back inside and into the top left corner. That is a peach from Phil Foden. It's one apiece in the Manchester derby. Either side of half-time, two absolute corkers from two of England's finest. Marcus Rashford smacking one in off the crossbar in the first half, and then Phil Foden curls one into the top left in the second to finally break the United resolve. They've been so defensively astute, and Andre Onana has done his job. Distribution, the claiming of crosses, it's all been there for Onana today, but he could not reach that effort from Phil Foden. And it's one apiece. Phil Foden's 17th goal this season in all competitions. City level, speaking of all competitions, looking to extend a mighty run, 18 undefeated in all competitions for City this season. (16 wins, 2 draws in the last 18 games. And a first change being made by Pep Guardiola in pursuit of maintaining that record. They'd rather do it with a win than a draw, I'm sure. And it's Jeremy Doku, left winger, being replaced by Julian Alvarez. It looks like the instruction is that Bernardo Silva is going to go further up the pitch and out to that left wing, with Julian Alvarez coming into a midfield role. There's Foden again, the goal scorer. His ball's back in play, he's in the box, knocks it out to Kyle Walker. Rodri, Stones, tees up. The shot does Alvarez for Stones, is blocked out to the left for Ake. Battling against Dallo, and I think Ake's just run that one out of play. Wants to throw in his way. And in fact, he's got the free kick, Nathan Ake. Dallo committing too much of his body to the ball there. So, free kick for City. Line with the edge of the penalty area out on the left. De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva stand over it. Bernardo runs over it, rolls into the path of De Bruyne, who then crosses first time for the back post. Onana punches out for a corner. On the hour mark now, City 1, United 1. The result that United would probably still take at this stage. City needing all 3 points at this crucial stage of their Premier League title campaign. Phil Foden over the corner. Was about to take it, but the referee has just spotted something in the box that he doesn't like. I think it's Nathan Ake tussling a bit too close to the goalkeeper Andre Onana, so he has a word. Now Foden set to take again. Ake still right on the goalkeeper. Varane trying to push him away. Foden delivers to the back post. Headed clear by Johnny Evans. Julian Alvarez will let it run out for a City throw-in on the far side, the left-hand side. Bernardo Silva takes the throw back to Ruben Diaz and Kyle Walker. Foden giving an option, but it goes inside instead for Rodri. Walker. Stones out to Foden. Back into the box for Stones, who continued his run, but it's defended. Bruno Fernandes. Kyle Walker gets the next touch. Foden. Alvarez. Bernardo Silva out on the left. Like he might fancy a cross, instead goes home to Rodri. Walker. Alvarez. Bernardo Silva. Pulled it back to the penalty spot. Defended. Rodri. And Walker. De Bruyne. It's a good ball, but Onana once again claims. Seriously improved that aspect of his game today. Pep is squatted down on the touchline, hand on chin. Perhaps running out of ideas in this one. It's Johnny Evans turning away from De Bruyne, flips it up the left wing, and Rashford can't quite bring that under control. It goes out for a throw-in. Walker will take. Diaz to John Stones. Brings it further up into United's half. Just leaves it with Rodri. Stones continuing to float around the edge of the area. It's Foden. Walker. Stones. Walker. Foden. Rodri through to the byline. Foden gets it back, crosses. Bernardo Silva try to knock it back inside for Haaland, just over him. Clearance is as far as De Bruyne, but he gets his control wrong. Runs through to Ruben Diaz instead for City. Foden has been the hub of City's attack in this game. De Bruyne. Ruben Diaz. De Bruyne tries to feed it through to Foden. Johnny Evans just did enough to shepherd that one through to Andre Onana. Gets hold of the ball and he stayed down. He's motioned straight away that, as the leg goes up, it might just be a cramp there for Onana. United will certainly hope so. The referee has to stop this, of course. Goes and takes the ball off Onana. Oh, he's actually indicating the hamstring, Onana, and he is going to need some treatment on. The referee has a look at his watch. United physio is on. Onana's up to his feet. Andy Madley just having a word with Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland. We await the restart. Yet to turn to the substitutes bench. Erik ten Hag with 65 minutes on the clock. Alvarez on Vidoku for Manchester City, the only change that we've seen. Does have number 1 Bayern as the sub-goalkeeper option if that's required. It's a bench that also contains Anthony, Amrabat, Eriksen, Diallo, and a lot of youth for United as well. Onana is back to his feet and we play on. Bruyne throws a ball up the line looking for Haaland. It's intercepted by Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo up the line for Rashford. Kyle Walker comes sprinting back into position to stand up Rashford, but he's managed to get it inside Rashford for Bruno Fernandes, but his touch gets away from him. Fighting for the ball back off Alvarez. Casemiro out to Dalot on the right. Still going Dalot. Back to Casemiro. Varane. All the way home to Onana. Outside of his penalty area. Evans. Waits the press from Rodri and goes back to Onana again. Dalot on the turn, trying to knock it out to Garnacho on the right. She puts it straight out of play. City throw in, taken quickly by Ake to Stones. This is Diaz. Bringing it forward, then goes into Bernardo Silva on the left, back inside for Diaz. Bernardo back to Ake. Diaz, Walker. Foden on the right. Walker. Diaz still moving it around well into United's half, but now the press has started to come from McTominay and Bruno Fernandes together, and that is enough to force Ruben Diaz all the way back to Ederson. Good work from McTominay in charging that one down. Ruben Diaz then. Brings it over the halfway line and goes into the feet of Erling Haaland. Good touch away from Casemiro, and then he touches it round to the right of Varane. Goes to ground Haaland, and Varane picks up a yellow card, and City have a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. It's a good little drop of the shoulder from Erling Haaland. Know that he very much prefers that left foot, so acts as if he's going to take it the long way around Varane to get onto his left foot, and then just bursts the inside of Varane, baits the foul. City have a free kick inside the D, I think it will be. They won't come until after this Manchester United substitution. Johnny Evans is going off. 68 minutes, he's played his part. He's done well, Evans, defensively, but has turned over possession a lot for United. A few times he's just popped the ball out of play for a throw-in rather than trying to play out. So Evans is off. And coming on, young French defender for United, Willy Camboila. I believe was a Premier League debut for Camboila. No, I tell a lie, he did play a couple of times back in December. Started against West Ham, a late substitute appearance against Aston Villa. First Premier League outing for him in 2024. The first job for him will be to find a place to help United defend this Kevin De Bruyne free kick that strikes the wall and then comes out to the right for City. Foden keeps it alive. And for Walker, Rodri. Foden. Back to Rodri. Walker lets it run for Ruben Diaz. Ake. Bernardo Silva. Stones. Ake. Walker lines up a shot from range. Good save from Onana. Wouldn't want to be beaten from there, Onana, but Walker caught it well. Onana just got himself behind it. Touched it down into the ground, let it bounce, and then hold on. 20 minutes left on the clock, plus whatever's added on. It's City 1, United 1. This is Lindelof for United. Dallow's now coming over to play left back. Lindelof has tucked in to centre back, it looks like. And Cambuala is on the right. Ruben Diaz. Walks it to the edge of the centre circle, gives it to Walker, now Stones. He's given it away, it's cleared. Bounce all the way through to Ederson in goal. I say in goal, he's come about 40 yards up the pitch to actually get that touch. Keep the pressure on for City. Long ball looking for Bernardo Silva. Willy Cambuala gets there first. A couple of step overs going towards his own corner flag, up against experienced player like Bernardo Silva. No lack of confidence coming from the young defender, and he is able to clear up the line for Garnacho too. Or Bruno Fernandes. His pass didn't quite have enough on it for Rashford, but it made it to its target eventually. Rashford had to get his body in against Foden though. That gave the ball to Dallo. Tomine back to Cambuala. Varane all the way home to Onana. Haaland presses Onana as he brings the ball outside of the box. So he goes left to Lindelof. Blind for Dallo. Beyond him, and then Walker will let it run out for a throw. United preparing a £100 million man, Anthony. Really out of favour in the pecking order of United attackers at this point, Anthony. He's going to get a run out here. Here is Foden into the penalty area. Stones try to knock it through to Walker. Cleared by Dallo. Stones intercepts. Walker, Rodri, De Bruyne, Alvarez. You fancy a shot, goes left to Bernardo Silva instead. Cut back for Alvarez, but defended by Varane and cleared out to the right flank where it's well beyond Garnacho. Ake collected for City. Rodri. Alvarez. Bernardo just to the left of him, uses him, crosses against Cambuala, and then into the arms of Onana. On the kick. Oh, Ederson's come well out of the box there, touches it down against Bruno Fernandes. Ake just rolls Garnacho and goes to ground after, and a free kick. And now here comes the United change, and this is interesting because it's going to be Marcus Rashford off to be replaced by Anthony. The emphatic Manchester United goal scorer. Rashford replaced. Anthony comes on. I suspect you'll see Garnacho move over to the left and Anthony to the right. Ruben Diaz receives from Nathan Ake. Getting away from Dallo. So we're back to Diaz. Rodri, quarter of an hour left on the clock. And Rodri finds John Stones. Still floating around in pockets. John Stones not playing as a defender at all at this point. clip ball is defended by Dalot out to Garnacho. Casemiro turning away from trouble. Julian Alvarez closing him down. Casemiro goes to Varane, back to Onana first time. Now Dalot receives on the left. Good City press still. It's Dalot. Oh, that's a lovely ball from Dalot up the line for Bruno Fernandes with the outside of his boot. Fernandes has got the run of Antony. Antony just completely fails to get the ball under control and gives it up to Rodri. I think he was offside anyhow. Antony, flag has now gone up. City take the free kick quickly. It's Bernardo Silva out to Kevin De Bruyne. Haaland. Stones out to Foden. Walker. Diaz. Rodri. Nicely out to De Bruyne. Twisting and turning against Casemiro. Back to Varane. Cross. Lindelof heads clear before Haaland can get to it. Garnacho and McTominay linking up nicely there. That was actually Antony and McTominay, but Marcus Rashford, but it's been total domination by City. Erling Haaland with one of the worst misses you will ever see for anybody, let alone from Erling. Rodri into the penalty area, clip it to Bernardo Silva, defended and then cleared by Varane. Foul on McTominay though, United will get the free kick as their advantage comes from that huge clearance. Nana takes the free kick on the edge of the penalty area. So left to Lindelof, back to the keeper. The pressure from Bernardo Silva. Still on the Nana, just coming back towards his own goal. Then flips it out to the right. Bruyne wins in the air. Haaland comes steaming in with a tackle. De Bruyne. Turned by Rodri. Get to the edge of the box. Tominay defends well. Rodri goes to ground, but the referee says no foul, and United with a chance to counter here. Bruno Fernandes. The hit of Kobbie Mainoo. He's got a run from Garnacho. Garnacho looks to be onside if he can get here before Ederson. He gets a touch. Ederson steams into him. I think fairly. I think this is going to be a United corner. Rodri and Bruno Fernandes are straight over to Andy Madley. Let's see. Always very tight for whether Garnacho is on or offside as he makes the run in behind Kyle Walker. But then to the second point. Oh, Ederson actually. Yeah, Garnacho never actually gets a touch of the ball. Ederson gets there first. Does go steaming through the man, but very much gets ball first. Does he lead dangerously with his studs here though? VAR are having a look. Garnacho is back to his feet but limping. VAR check complete. No foul by Ederson and not even a corner. It's in fact a goal kick for City. Ederson came steaming in and slid in on the ball, playing it off of Phil Foden? Goodness me. Off of Alejandro Garnacho. Sorry, it was Phil Foden then receiving the ball for Manchester City, and he plays it out to Bernardo Silva on the right. Inside for Julian Alvarez. Foden is headed out to the left wing. They've switched sides for a moment. Alvarez back to Ruben Diaz. Fizzed out to Foden now on the left. De Bruyne. Tried to play it through for Foden. Back to Ake. Diaz. Okay. The line for De Bruyne. Foden. Alvarez, good turn into the path of Foden. Oh, brilliant finish, Phil Foden, and City have their lead at long last. United have held on for so long, but there's only so much they could do. against the brilliance of Phil Foden. He has 2 on the 80-minute mark. Foden at the brace. City lead for the first time today. And what an absolutely huge goal that could be in City's title hunt. And what a huge performance this has been from Phil Foden. He drops to a knee for his signature celebration again. He did it the first time. This time Erling Haaland pushes him over. They have a little laugh about it, and Foden drops back to his knee and does a celebration right in the corner. It's a Julian Alvarez assist, a nice little 1-2 between them. Foden had only just moved over to the left wing. He's played on the right all game, cutting in on his left foot. A switch of sides with Bernardo Silva that immediately pays dividends. A 1-2 with Julian Alvarez. Gets into the box from a tight angle. Foden just fires it low across goal with his left foot. Onana does get fingertips to it, but not enough to divert it away from goal. Into the far corner it goes. Man City 2, United 1. Looks like a double change has come from United now. You can see Sofiane Amrabat and Ethan Forson on the pitch. The players that have gone off: Kobe Mainu and Alejandro Garnacho, interestingly. I suppose they are 2 like-for-like changes. Omari Forson, sorry. Manchester United, I don't know where Ethan Forson came from. Walker to Foden. Bernardo Silva. Back to Walker. I think we might now see an exercise in keeping possession from Manchester City with 8 minutes left on the clock. Here's Rodri. Does gallop into United territory, plays it out to Foden, who stayed on the left. Alvarez. Back to De Bruyne. Okay. Okay, 1-2 with Stones. Foden. Back to De Bruyne. Walker. Good touch. Bernardo Silva. Diaz. Into Ake. Rodri is slotted in deeper for City now, making up the back 4 next to Ruben Diaz. Stones continues to float around in the midfield. There's De Bruyne. Turns and looks out to the left. Finds Phil Foden. Touch to open up the space for him on his left foot. Takes us to the byline. There's Kambala going inside and out. Gives it to Ake, Julian Alvarez, and Foden. Cross looking for Haaland. Lindelof wins in the air. Drops to Bernardo Silva. Stones. Silva again. Let's let it run through his legs. Rodri. Ake. To the left for Foden. Ake in field for Walker. Diaz. Back to Walker. Stones to Bernardo Silva. A couple of minutes without losing the ball here, City. Walker. Back to Edison. Edison looked out to Bernardo Silva on the right. Goes to ground under challenge from Dallo, but Silva was offside, says the linesman, so United get the free kick. Oh, that's not a good kick from Onana. De Bruyne intercepts, 1-2 with Foden. De Bruyne heading towards the corner flag. Works it back to Foden. In the box, Foden, but just cuts back. No hurry for him. De Bruyne. Ake. Stones. Walker. Stones. To Diaz on the right. Advances. Gives it to Bernardo Silva. 5 minutes left on the clock plus stoppage time. Ruben Diaz receives it again from Bernardo Silva. The line for Julian Alvarez. Back to Bernardo Silva. Still around the United penalty area at City, but obviously no intent to risk anything at this point. Walker. Foden fizzes it back to Edison. Walker. Edison to Ruben Diaz. All the way back again. Stones, Walker. Towards the halfway line. And then back they go again to the edge of their own penalty area here, City. This is a real exhibition at the moment from City, using the entirety of the pitch to maintain possession, and then eventually an opening comes for John Stones as he plays it out to the left for Kevin De Bruyne. He's got Cambuala to run at, takes it on his left foot, crosses low. Haaland was the target, defensively sorted out by Raphael Varane, but only at the expense of a corner. Not gone yet, the threat. 16th corner of the game, 14 of them have been Manchester City's. Kevin De Bruyne stands over it on the left. Looks like he is going to deliver it into the box rather than go short. Varane and Onana coming together there for the ball, I think. I guess Onana that got the touch. Furious about something, Onana. I think he's been fouled by Nathan Ake, perhaps. So regardless, City are going to get the next corner. Bernardo Silva from the right, in swinger on his left foot. Haaland the target, just misses the ball. Drops for Dalot. His touch isn't good. Kevin De Bruyne tackles him out on the right. De Bruyne. Julian Alvarez. Switch for Bernardo Silva, who's still out on this right flank, having taken the corner. Into the box for John Stones. Tackle. Comes back out to Bernardo Silva. Cross. De Bruyne. Across goal for Haaland. Cleared to Anthony on the right for United. Burst of pace away from Ake. Cuts back and is challenged by Foden. Foden just uses his body to get in the way of Anthony and see that out for a City throw-in. Foden piping up the City crowd so close to the pitch on that far side where he's won the throw-in. Ake takes it. Home they go. Edison. Alvarez clears around the corner for Haaland. Just pinning Raphael Varane there. Varane does the ball back, that Dalot, the line for Forson. So for Casemiro around the corner for Forson again on the left wing. Walker is up against him, so home it goes to Dalot. Up the line for Bruno Fernandes, who's found some space as Walker followed Forson inside. Forson slips though. Oh, and then his touch just brings it away from Bruno Fernandes. That's disappointing for United. That could be their last chance because it's the 90th minute and we know that City could quite comfortably hold possession for however much time is added on. And they do slow things down as Foden goes back to Ruben Diaz, now Rodri. Bitterly disappointing that moment for United. It looked like the counter was on as Bruno Fernandes had made a really clever move into Forson's space and then just needed a little 1-2. Forson slipped as he took his touch. Still could have been fine as Bruno Fernandes went to take the ball off his toes. But Forson just stretched out and actually knocked it away from his teammate Bruno Fernandes. Bit of a miscommunication. Oh my, we're not done yet. 8 minutes of added time have been indicated by the fourth official. I'm not entirely sure where 8 have come from, if I'm completely honest, but that will be encouraging for the visitors, Manchester United. De Bruyne's shot just wide of the mark as he comes in from the left, curled an effort across goal on his right foot. I think City weren't expecting that 8 minutes of stoppage time and perhaps thought that they could just quite comfortably see this game out. And now they know that there's time. Oh, but Rodri wins it high up. Haaland! There's the goal for Erling Haaland, and that will seal the game for Manchester City. And it's completely United's own doing. I'm going to need another look because one moment there's no threat at all, and I was just checking the stats and I look back and Rodri's won the ball on the edge of United's box, poked through to Haaland in acres of space, and Haaland this time makes no mistake of just bending it around. Onana. And I'm seeing a very disappointed looking Sofiane Amrabat. Let's see what happens here. Onana. Oh, it is Amrabat caught on the ball. Onana plays it out to Casemiro on the left. He knocks it inside for Amrabat. Chests it down, going towards his own goal. Isn't sure what he wants to do with it. And then eventually just runs straight into Rodri. Rodri turns, plays it through to Erling Haaland. Wraps the finish. And it's 3-1. Game over for Man City. The knee slide from Haaland. Foden arrives and plants a big kiss on his forehead. It's you, big beauty. Don't you worry about that chance in the first half, mate. All done for Manchester City, surely at this stage. There's still 5 minutes of stoppage time at least to be played, but United's heads have dropped now. And they're all looking in the direction of Sofiane Amrabat. A lone move that really hasn't worked out for Manchester United or for Amrabat after that impressive World Cup campaign that he had. To De Bruyne over on the far side. Dallo. Bernardo Silva. Foden flicks it out to Ake. Foden gets it again on the edge of the penalty area. And now with the 2-goal cushion, City might feel more compelled to do even more attacking. They haven't got quite such a tight lead to defend. Now they are on the edge of the area with a bit more impetus. But as it's cleared, it runs all the way through to Ederson. He fakes rolling it out. Bruno Fernandes sort of chucks a leg at him. Just pushes him away and gives it out to Ruben Diaz. Diaz to Ederson. Ake on the left. Foden. Nice knock around the corner that for Kevin De Bruyne. Foden again. Rodri into the path of John Stones. It's a run for Bernardo Silva. Walker. Stones. Walker again back to Ruben Diaz. Back into their own half now, Manchester City. Ake. Some to Ederson. Out to the left for Kevin De Bruyne. waits for Anthony's pressure and then just knocks it back to Nathan Ake. Yeah, they are just going to see this one out, I think, here, Manchester City, or at least hold possession for some time. That's a really clever touch from Foden. Invites a foul from Anthony. I think that's just another act of petulance from Anthony. We saw it last time these two sides met when he swung out on Jeremy Doku. And it looks like there's a little flick from Phil Foden that Anthony's not happy with and comes into the back of him. Foden looks to be in quite some discomfort on the ground. Referee standing over him, as is Anthony. Erling, Haaland, Ruben Diaz, John Stones around the situation. Haaland and Diaz help Foden to his feet, and he's going to limp off the pitch to be replaced for the last few minutes of the game by Oscar Bob. And there's a little hug between Foden and Anthony. Pat of acknowledgement from Foden. Perhaps I've read too much into it, and there's no malice from Anthony on that one. He's not been booked either. Looked nasty when I first saw it, but perhaps nothing intentional there from the Brazilian as Foden walks around the long way of the pitch to a standing ovation from the home support. So close to the supporters as he makes his way around the Etihad Stadium on that far side. And a couple of more Premier League minutes for this exciting young player Oscar Bob. 90 seconds of stoppage time at least still to play. Bob might get a few touches of the ball here. Not while it's in this area though, as City knock it between Diaz, Walker and Edison. Eventually the goalkeeper hoofs long. One in the air by Lindelof ahead of Haaland. Rodri out to De Bruyne. De Bruyne tried to release Oscar Bob for a touch, but the cute outside of the foot pass goes awry. Then runs out for a United throw-in. Not many in red still here to watch this one. The away end emptying, nearly at empty at this point. Short journey home, of course, for the away fans in this one. Lindelof to Amrabat, to Dallo on the left. Infield for Casemiro. Bob closing down. Dallo receives from Lindelof. Dallo turns away from Bernardo Silva. Good burst of pace this from Dallo. But as he tries to work it through to Anthony, I think he's been fouled there by Ruben Diaz. And I think this is going to be the last involvement, or the last piece of action in the game. This United free kick. Bruno Fernandes stands over it. It would take some strike from him, and it would be quite a special consolation goal and nothing more, I think, at this stage, if Bruno Fernandes were to score from here. About 30 yards from goal, just to the left of it. Looks a good position for him to curl it in on his right foot, but I think he's just going to cross it to the bodies at the back post instead. He does so. And out it goes, off the head, and there goes the full-time whistle from Andy Madley. It's Manchester City 3, Man United 1 at full-time. United opened the scoring early with Marcus Rashford's absolute screamer, and it looked for quite some time like they were going to be able to sit back and defend that lead. But that was broken in the second half by a Phil Foden double salvo, the first of which an absolute screamer, almost as good as Rashford's in its own right. And then who else but Erling Haaland to wrap up the win on 90 minutes. City once again have the bragging rights in the city of Manchester, and leg up in their Premier League title race to go with it. They go back to within a point of league leaders Liverpool. That's it from us on Flash Score. Thank you very much for joining us, and good night.